I'm 42. And my husband and I are in an open marriage. Not because we stopped loving each other, but because one night he looked at me and said, "It feels like we're roommates." That sentence hurt more than betrayal ever could. The first time he went on a date, I helped him choose his jacket. Then I stood in the kitchen and tried not to fall apart. I was jealous, terrified, afraid he would find someone younger, easier, someone who didn't carry 20 years of shared history. But here's what I learned. Love is not ownership. It's choice. And every time he comes home, not because he has to, but because he wants to, I feel chosen. I'm 42. And if you had told me 10 years ago that one day I would sit calmly and say, "My husband and I are in an open marriage," I would have looked at you like you were insane. I used to believe love was simple. Two people meet. They choose each other. And that choice automatically means exclusivity. Forever. No questions asked. But life at 40 is not the same as life at 20. And love after 20 years together doesn't look the same either. We met young. We built everything from scratch. Tiny apartment. Second-hand furniture. Big dreams. We grew up side by side. We became parents. We survived financial stress, health scares, family drama, sleepless nights. We learned how to function as a team. But somewhere along the way, we stopped being curious about each other. We were efficient, responsible, loyal, but not curious. I can't tell you the exact moment I realized something was missing. It wasn't a dramatic fight. It wasn't betrayal. It was quieter than that. It was sitting next to him on the couch and feeling alone. It was going to bed at the same time but not touching. It was talking about schedules instead of dreams. And then one night, at the kitchen table, he said something that cracked everything open. "It feels like we're roommates who respect each other." That hurt. Because it was true. After a long silence, he admitted that sometimes he felt attracted to other women. Not emotionally attached. Not secretly in love. Just aware that he was still a man who could feel desire. I waited for anger to explode inside me. But instead, I felt something unexpected. Recognition. Because I felt it too. I had noticed men looking at me. I had felt small sparks of curiosity. And every time, I buried it under guilt. At 40, you realize something important. Pretending you don't have desires doesn't make them disappear. It just makes you lonely. The idea of an open marriage didn't come up as a fantasy. It came up as a question. Could honesty be safer than secrecy? Could transparency protect us more than control? We didn't rush. We talked for weeks. About boundaries. About jealousy. About what would break us and what might strengthen us. We created rules. No lies. No hidden messages. No emotional replacement of each other. Our marriage stays first. Always. Still, theory is easy. Reality is not. The first time he went on a date, I felt brave while he was getting ready. I helped him pick a jacket. I told myself I was modern. Evolved. Secure. The moment the door closed, my confidence collapsed. I sat in the quiet house and felt every insecurity I've ever had. Am I still attractive? Am I enough? What if he discovers something better out there? Younger. Easier. Less complicated. Jealousy is not glamorous. It's raw and humiliating. It forces you to confront the parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. When he came home, I studied his face. Looking for signs. Distance. Regret. Excitement. Instead, he looked thoughtful. And gentle. He held my hand and said, "I love you. This doesn't replace you. It reminds me why I choose you. That sentence stayed with me. When it was my turn, I was terrified in a different way. Not of losing him, but of rediscovering myself. I hadn't been on a date in over 2 decades. I didn't know who I was outside of being his wife. Standing in front of the mirror that evening, I saw fine lines around my eyes. I saw experience, strength, softness. And I realized something shocking: I still wanted to feel desired. Not validated as a mother. Not respected as a partner. Desired. The date itself wasn't life-changing. It wasn't some dramatic romance. It was simply a reminder that I am still a woman with energy and curiosity. And when I came home, we talked. Openly. About how it felt. What scared us. What excited us. What hurt. That's the part people don't understand. Open marriage is not about endless pleasure. It's about endless communication. You cannot hide. You cannot pretend you're not jealous. You cannot quietly build resentment. Everything must be said. There were moments when I questioned everything. Nights when I lay awake imagining worst-case scenarios. But then I would look at our history, 20 years of shared life, and realize that secrecy would have destroyed us faster than honesty ever could. We are not naive. We know feelings can grow unexpectedly. We know risk exists. But risk exists in traditional marriages too. People fall in love with coworkers. With friends. With strangers online. The difference is that most couples don't talk about it until it's too late. What this experience has taught me is that love is not ownership. It is not control. It is not locking someone in a cage and calling it security. Love is waking up every day and choosing each other. Knowing there are other options in the world. That choice feels more powerful than obligation ever did. Our intimacy has changed. We are more honest about our fantasies. More open about our fears. We don't assume. We ask. We listen. We reassure. We've had difficult conversations about boundaries shifting, about moments of discomfort, about checking in with each other regularly. We learn to say, "This hurt me," without turning it into blame. We learn to sit in uncomfortable emotions without running from them. That kind of emotional work is exhausting, but it is also deeply bonding. Are there hard days? Absolutely. Jealousy still visits. So does doubt. But alongside them, something else has grown: respect. Because it takes courage to look at your partner and say, "I trust you with your freedom." I'm not saying this path is for everyone. It requires emotional maturity, brutal honesty, and the willingness to confront your own insecurities. It forces you to grow up in ways you didn't expect. But for us, it pulled us out of autopilot. It reminded us that we are individuals first, and partners by choice. Not by habit. Not by fear. I'm 42. And I don't feel trapped. I don't feel owned. I don't feel invisible. I feel aware. Awake. And every time he comes back home, not because he has to, but because he wants to, I feel something deeper than possession. I feel chosen. And after 20 years together, that might be the most powerful feeling of all.